And good evening, everyone. I will now call this chamber to order. Will everyone please rise if you can and salute our nation's flag with our Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you mind to remain standing for a moment of personal reflection? Thank you. Township Clerk, please call roll and read our statement of adequate notice.
Councilmember Hall.
Here.
Councilman Wendell.
Here.
Councilwoman Winston.
Here.
Councilwoman Zembicki.
Here.
And Council President McAvoy.
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen.
Here.
Administrator Joseph Criscullo.
Here.
And Township Attorney Anthony Iacoca.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law, 1975, by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and the Asbury Park Press newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. Council, you have before you Resolution 25-148, adopting our meeting minutes from the March 24th, 2025 meeting. May I have a motion?
Second.
Second? Oh, I'm sorry, and a second. Are there a need for any corrections or clarifications on these minutes? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zembicki.
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. I now will read a proclamation from the Mayor's office recognizing April 2025 as Child Abuse and Awareness Prevention Month. If there are any members going to represent the group, please step forward. The proclamation, Wheel Pins for Prevention. Whereas children are our nation's most vulnerable members, as well as our nation's most valuable resources, helping to shape the future of East Brunswick. And whereas positive childhood experiences, like loving caregivers and safe and stable and nurturing relationships, can help mitigate trauma and the negative impact of adverse childhood experiences to promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of our children. Whereas the childhood trauma can make a long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects throughout an individual's lifetime and impact future generations of their family. Whereas childhood trauma, including abuse and neglect, is a serious problem affecting our community in the United States, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. Whereas children who live in families with access to concrete economical and social supports are less likely to experience abuse and neglect. Whereas prevention is possible because of the partnership created between families, prevention advocates, child welfare professionals, educational, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, local, state, and national governments. And whereas we acknowledge that in order to solve the public health issue of abuse and neglect, we must work together to change hearts and mindsets through storytelling and sharing central the needs of families, which break down biases and barriers and inspire action from unexpected and unexpected partners in prevention, and whereas we are committed to advancing equitable, responsive, and effective systems that ensure all children and families are healthy and thriving, and whereas we recognize the need to prioritize kids and invest in our prevention initiatives like home visits, family strengthening policies, economic support, and community-based abuse prevention programs at the national, state, and local levels. And whereas the East Brunswick Women's Club will be displaying pinwheels around the municipal complex during the month of April to serve as a positive reminder that together we can prevent child abuse and keep children safe. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Brad Cohen, as everybody knows, not Kevin McElroy, that I, Brad Cohen, do hereby proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month, and urge all citizens to engage in activities that strengthen families and communities to provide the optimal environment for children to learn, grow, and thrive, so all children have the benefit of a happy, healthy, and safe childhood, and further urge everyone to work together to eliminate child abuse and neglect from our community. Signed under my hand of the Great Seal of the Township of East Brunswick, this is the 14th day of April in the year of 2025, the Honorable Brad J. Cohen.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And I just wanted to say a few words. My name is Laura Pechar, and I am the second VP of the East Brunswick Women's Club. And with me, we brought several of our members. It's a great honor for us to accept this proclamation on behalf of our club members. Thank you, Mayor Cohen, and the members of the East Brunswick Township Council for recognizing the club and the pinwheel garden we planted in the municipal complex. This is actually the 5th year that we have planted the Pinwheels for Prevention Garden as a reminder to the community that April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. There are over 200 pinwheels that have been planted in the complex this year to serve as a reminder that all children are entitled to safe, healthy, and happy childhoods. And we, in addition, one of our sister clubs has also planted some pinwheels by the library as well. And this year, in addition, we sold pinwheel pins and placed a bucket out at the complex for children to take home pinwheels and enjoy them as well. And I also have we have partnered in the past, and again this year, with Prevent Child Abuse New Jersey over the years. And I would like to introduce Eva Smutko, who is the Director of Home Visiting from Child Abuse New Jersey, and she'd just like to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Council and Mayor Cohen, for this proclamation. My name is Eva Smutko, and as Laura said, I'm the Director of Home Visiting at Prevent Child Abuse New Jersey. We are a statewide organization that works to support families and children. We build a brighter future for children by promoting family wellness, positive parenting, healthy child development, and nurturing communities. And we envision a world where every child has a happy, healthy, and safe childhood. At Prevent Child Abuse New Jersey, we focus on the prevention part, and prevention is not possible without wonderful partners like the Women's Club, like the Town Council, and like all of you who are here caring for children throughout New Jersey and around the world. And I thank you all today for understanding the importance of children in our communities, and that it is all of our responsibility in partnership to care for those children.
Thank you.
I'm going to take a council. Would you come for a photo shoot? Can you boots, Rob?
Yeah, good. can go. Ready? Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Take the proclamation, too.
You got the bad one?
Okay. We do not have any ordinances for a second reading or public hearing, so we will move on to our reports section of the meeting. Mayor Cohen.
Thank you, Council President. A couple of items. First, as you know, I've started doing town hall meetings to go over some of the issues that are going on in the township, whether that be redevelopment, affordable housing, taxes, revals, really an opportunity for people to interact and get answers to questions that they might have questions about. So the next one's at the Community Arts Center this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Then the other one that I wanted to bring to your attention, it will be up for approval, I believe, for the next council meeting. As most of you know, that the ice rink that we are building is ahead of schedule and is expected to open this October. In doing so, one of the things the township sought to find was somebody who could come in and bring in programs and an organization that already has that in place versus us having to do that on our own. We were able to find one such group that runs multiple teams throughout the region, and it looks very positive, although if the RFP looks like it fulfilled all of the requirements that we had, that would be for your approval at the next council meeting. But that would put us in an unbelievably good position, because it would mean that right from the very beginning, virtually all of the ice time will have been secured, which helps us bring that to a place where we're able to at least make or exceed our costs, which is really phenomenal for a startup, which essentially is what this is. So that's the rink. The other is a quick update on affordable housing. Many of you know that the Fair Share Housing and the DCA gave us, like every town, a fourth round obligation. Ours was for 315 units to be built over a 10-year period of time, very similar to the last 10-year period, which was the third round that ends in 2025. We contested that number because based on the system that the DCA was using to calculate the numbers, we felt that it was too high. We challenged that. The DCA has agreed that the number is too high and felt that the 265 that we were requesting was a reasonable number. However, the Builders Association is suing all towns that have challenged the numbers that were given by the DCA. So regardless of the fact that the DCA actually agrees that the lower number is correct, we are in court fighting the Builders Association to try to have them adopt the same 265 that the DCA has agreed is the right number. That's still pending. That court case was heard in front of the judge, and we're anticipating at any time a decision as to whether or not we get the 265, 315, or any number in between. So we're waiting on that. And then finally, I just wanted to wish everybody who celebrates a happy Passover, and those that will be celebrating Easter this coming weekend, a happy and healthy holiday. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mayor, and thank you. Our business administrator, Mr. Crisculo.
Yes, as several people know, many people know, the New Jersey property tax release program is slightly different this year. There will be 3 seminars presented at our public library, one on Tuesday, April 22nd at 10 a.m., one on Thursday, April 24th at 2 p.m., so a morning session and an afternoon session, and Thursday, May 8th at 7 p.m. in the library. So that's open to all residents if they want better understanding on the New Jersey property tax relief program for senior homeowners, renters, 65 years of age and older. The 3 programs have been combined. You'll see some flyers around different places in the town, just reminding people of the seminars that we're offering. It'll also be out on the website and social media. So I'm hoping that people will attend and basically have their questions answered. Thank you. That's all, sir.
And you're welcome, and thank you, sir. Our Township Attorney, Mr. Iacocca.
Thank you, Council President. I have a few items. First, I would like to remove Resolution number 25-161. It's the shared services agreement with the Board of Ed regarding use of school facilities and capital funding. Would also like to remove ordinance number 25-15, which is the bond ordinance for school capital improvements. The next item is I have, for the end of the meeting, a closed session resolution to discuss pending litigation matters and also to discuss a contract item regarding the shared service agreement with the Board of Ed. And finally, there's an ordinance 25-17 authorizing a drainage easement and roadway easement for the Brightview redevelopment. As you may recall, back in November of last year, the Township Redevelopment Agency and Brightview East Brunswick Urban Renewal, LLC, signed a redevelopment agreement regarding property located at the corner of 509 Cranberry Road and Riders Lane. Brightview is proposing to construct a 4-story independent assisted living facility. The redevelopment agreement requires the township to convey a drainage easement and a roadway easement to Brightview. So the purpose of the ordinance is to authorize the easements. Okay? That's all.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Iacocca. Council, board or commissions? Quiet evening? Okay.
Quick.
Oh, yeah, nothing quick, please.
No, real quick report. So,
Councilwoman Zambicki?
thank you. Last weekend, the East Brunswick Police PBA Easter egg hunt was canceled, but it's rescheduled for the 19th at 12 o'clock at the Community Arts Center. And there's 2 events on April 27th. One is the Keller Run from 10 to 11, and then you can hop right over to the Arts Commission, who is sponsoring the Fly a Kite Day, and that's from 11 to 2. Both of those events are at the Community Arts Center. And the first 100 children to show up will receive a free kite. And that's all we have from Park and Recs.
Thank you, Councilwoman Zambicki. We will now open the meeting to the public. So, Ms. Lawful, will you read it? Yeah. That's okay, no. Excited. We'll open the meeting to the public, but Ms. Our no, I'm thinking of the title. How come Township Clerk. Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful. She will read our public comment statement first, and then we'll proceed. Please.
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond or not respond.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing at this time to address the council president? This gentleman right here.
Alrighty. Hello, council members and guests. Assalamu alaikum to my Muslim brothers and sisters. My name is Muhammad. I'm a Muslim, first-generation Palestinian American, born and raised here in New Jersey. My family is from Daddy of St. Palestine, and I've been here in New Jersey since the 1950s. All right, so...
What town do you live in, sir?
I'm sorry?
What town do you...
Piscataway.
In
We're
Piscataway.
yeah. So basically, why we are here, none of us are comfortable while the U.S. is enabling and funding the genocide of Palestinians, primarily women and children. Since October 7th, 2023, the Israeli occupation has obliterated over 36 hospitals, including a children's cancer center recently, with patients and staff still inside. As of March 23rd, 2025, 50,021 Palestinians have been murdered. 70% were women and children. If someone says that they're going to spray the weeds off on your lawn and blanket sprays the entire lawn, killing every blade of grass instead, I would question their intentions, wouldn't you? Over 113,000 Palestinians have been injured, with Gaza holding the highest per capita rates of murdered and amputated children globally. 116 journalists, over 224 humanitarian aid workers, and more than 1,000 doctors and nurses are among the casualties. And it doesn't stop there. In December of last year, 51-year-old Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya was forcibly taken after Israel leveled the Kamal Adwan hospital, where he worked as a director, under false claims that it was harboring enemy combatants. Dr. Safiya has endured severe torture, including 25 days of nonstop interrogation and solitary confinement, beatings, and forced to sit on sharp gravel naked. Despite his heart condition, he was denied medical treatment. And on this past Palm Sunday, Israel bombed another church and 2 hospitals. So we cannot sit idly by and allow Israel to act with impunity. Nearly $4 billion of taxpayer money goes to Israel annually, making it the largest cumulative recipient of U.S. foreign aid since World War II. While Americans struggle for universal health care, affordable housing, and education, Israel enjoys these benefits, along with advanced infrastructure and even subsidized relocation for Jews to occupied lands. Why? Now, in an effort to reduce government spending, the Trump administration is planning budget cuts to essential programs like meal assistance and even veteran health care. Imagine how many of us here are related to or know someone who's a veteran. Currently, many veterans die just waiting for access to care they desperately need. So let me get this straight. You want to reduce government spending, so you cut vital domestic funds here in the U.S., but not the $4 billion a year you give to Israel? In January, Marco Rubio proposed a bill to provide Israel with an additional $4 billion in military aid, while the U.S. State Department proposed an $8 billion arms deal, which includes Hellfire missiles and 500-pound bombs. Hellfire missiles. That sounds pretty scary. Weaponry used in Gaza to target civilians from the air, including the UN tents protected under the Geneva Convention. We must act now. The priority for all of you is to demand a ceasefire, release the hundreds of hostages, divest from Israel, and implement an arms embargo immediately. As officials in East Brunswick, your responsibility is to represent constituents who believe taxpayer funds should prioritize domestic needs over aid to Israel. This stance is not about targeting any group. It's about calling for justice and accountability. Criticizing a government's actions is not anti-Semitic, and as a Palestinian, I am a Semite myself. On college campuses, students demand an end to the U.S. and Israeli actions harming civilians and depriving Palestinians of basic needs. Imagine an amputee child without medicine or a starving one crying for food while their parent stands powerless to do anything as Israel blocks aid. Entire families are being wiped out, yet the world is expected to stay silent because it's Israel. Would you stay silent if you were your family? These protests aren't inciting violence against Jews. Many Jewish Americans stand with us in solidarity. Yet Zionists and some government members label these Jews anti-Semitic. That's pretty absurd in my opinion. Now, a proposed law based on an IHRA definition seeks to classify any criticism of Israel on campuses as anti-Semitic. Unopposing this bill sends a clear message to future generations, including all your grandchildren, that their freedom to speak and assemble is limited to topics that only align with the narrative of the government. Is that what you want for them? Have you seen the signs that these students carry? Have you truly listened to their voices?
Mohammed, that's it.
Thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate it. Free Palestine. Do something. Do something.
Anyone else wishing to address the council president? Please.
It's a hard act to follow. As if I'm a fellow Semite and a third-generation Jewish American.
And your name is?
Oh, yes. My name is Mark Pepper, Mark David Pepper, MD. I'm here mainly because...
And you live where, Mark?
Oh, West Windsor. This seems very familiar. And you're much more generous with your time, 5 minutes. We do 3 minutes in West Windsor. But
Right, we are very generous.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I'm here mainly because I have the two most adorable grandsons, 2- and 4-year-old, who live in New Rochelle. I want them to have a happy future, just like all children everywhere deserve to have them. And I'm so glad we're here tonight for the proclamation. I mean, child abuse is just, that's horrific. So thank you for passing that. I live at, I live in Princeton Junction, also known as West Windsor. I've lived there since 1992. Before that, I lived in Philadelphia, where I went to college, medical school, and then once I started working in pharma, I moved to New Jersey. I grew up in Chester, Pennsylvania, in a very liberal and religiously conservative Jewish home. I grew up in Chester, PA. Oh, I said that. It was the compromise reached by my Orthodox mother and a religious father. I was raised to practice and love Judaism and Israel and to keep a kosher home. My parents stressed the importance of treating everyone with dignity and fairness, regardless of ethnicity or religion or place of origin. Eventually, I had the good fortune to meet my wife, Ann Kupferberg, first during college, and then again years later at Israeli dancing night at the Jewish Y at Broad and Pine in Philly. My wife had been brought up with very similar values to mine and also with a strong Jewish identity. Ann's parents had the means to engage in extensive philanthropy, both with the Red Cross and many Jewish causes. The Queensborough Community College has the Harriet and Kenneth Holocaust, Harriet and Kenneth Kupferberg Holocaust Resource Center. It was funded by them and then named for them posthumously. It's the only community college that has such a facility in the country, at least at that time. They insisted that this center would not just be about the Jewish Holocaust, but would be devoted to teaching about all Holocausts, and with the goal that such atrocities would never happen to anyone, ever again. While I don't live in East Brunswick, having lived in Mercer County for now over 33 years, we have developed deep ties well beyond Mercer County and throughout New Jersey. My two daughters attended the Solomon Schechter Day School at EBJC from 1999 to 2001. She went to school with Carly Langer, if you know the Langers. I don't know if they still live here. My son is best friends since preschool at Beth El in East Windsor with the younger daughter of Cantor Rabbi Larry Brandspiegel, who we used to know as Cantor Larry, and at Beth El, and where we were longtime members. We have had many enjoyable meals at Lock, Stock, and Deli. Sad that it's gone. Very sad. My son happened to be in Israel on October 7th. He was participating in a 5-month internship with Masa, the Masa program, to help him jumpstart his career. It was cut short at 5 weeks, and thankfully he made it home safely. He's still dealing with that trauma of being there at that time. And his trauma is nothing compared to everybody else who's still over there. So you see, I have deep ties and strong feelings about being Jewish and about Israel. Sadly, over the years, my devotion to Israel has been greatly eroded. I will say it frankly, AIPAC is pure evil. I no longer donate, which I used to generously, to organizations such as ADL, the Federation, or JFCS, located in West Windsor. As the son of a Hebrew school teacher, I took my Hebrew school very seriously. In more recent years, I have been refreshing and expanding my knowledge of Israel's history and the Zionist movement. I have come to realize, like numerous other fellow Jews, that we didn't really know that history of Israel and specifically Zionism as well as we thought we did. I'm now well aware that the Zionist story has many gaps and is far more complicated than we were led to believe. It is certainly an extremely sad and painful one for everyone who had been impacted by it, Israelis and Palestinians alike. So what we have now is this perpetual war in Israel-Gaza, or Israel-Palestine, going on for close to 100 years or so. In the beginning, at least for me, was the Six-Day War when I was 11, and we were so scared to death for Israel, and then so elated when the miracle victory that we all thought that maybe finally there could be peace. In reality, all it did was continue the never really resolved situation of the Palestinian mandate that the British left for the UN to settle post-World War II. And that resolution only served to kick the can down the road and created more problems than it purported to solve. There was terrorism back then, largely committed by Jews fighting for independence, which then became independence for one group, and the Nakba for the other group. Ever since, it has been a never-ending cycle of back-and-forth violence, bloodshed, terrorism, misinformation, lies, skirmishes, several full-blown wars, which still have not solved a thing. Both sides are guilty of perpetuating this madness. But both sides just see an end to the violence, but in a way that is fair and just to all, not one-sided as it is now. It is clear to me the only solution right now, with Israel holding the upper hand and the Palestinians oppressed, victimized, and dehumanized, is a negotiated permanent peace settlement. No more weapons, no more hostages or prisoners, be they Israeli or Palestinian. No more killing, no more bulldozing, no more inhumane and savage starvation, no more suicide bombings, no more occupation, no more apartheid, no more genocide, no ethnic cleansing, and no more Holocaust. Never again for anyone. As the saying goes, no one is truly free until all are free.
And that's 5 minutes. Mr.
And this is what democracy looks like. Thank you.
A little more than 5 minutes. Please.
Okay, thank you. My name is Atika. I'm from East Brunswick. All right, just going to read a little bit from the U.S. Constitution for you all here. The First Amendment. I know you all are familiar with this. We learned it in school. Anyway. Okay, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So that's our beloved First Amendment, which includes right there the freedom of speech. It's very, very clear. The wording could not be clearer. Freedom of the press, that's another big one. Are we seeing freedom of the press in our Western media right now? Have we been seeing it for 18 months? Freedom to peaceably assemble, is that under negotiation right now by our administration, where they're trying to take pro-Palestinian voices, people who have just attended protests, and deport them, disappear them, put them in jail for that free speech? These First Amendment rights are being trampled right now by our current government. They're deporting students, pro-Palestinian students, who are legally here in the United States. These students should be protected by the universities, who have actually asked them to come from other countries, given them scholarships and whatnot, and programs such as Fulbright scholarships to come and attend their universities. They should be protected by the universities. We're not seeing that. This didn't start with the current administration. This genocide started with Biden, Harris, and Butcher Blinken. The violations of our First Amendment rights, especially on our college campuses, as seen from Columbia all the way to UCLA and all across the country, these started under the Democrats, under Biden. So now, as we watch the current administration accelerate the crimes of the previous administration, as we see a final solution in Gaza, we come to you today asking for a change of your policy, a pivot of your stance, and any utterance from any single one of you that what you have seen is enough and that we need an immediate end to this genocide. These detainees, as we call them, you'll recognize this face here. This is Mahmoud Khalil for the audience. These detainees, as we call them, they're just students. We know some of their names: Mahmoud Khalil, Rumeisa Ozturk, and now Mohsin Madawi. That's the newest one that we heard about today. Rumeisa Ozturk, Ranjani Srinivasan, Leka Kordia, and these are just students from Columbia University, so that university, something is going on there. Yunseo Chung of Barnard College, which is also partnered with Columbia. Mahmoud Tal of Cornell University, Badr Khan Suri of Georgetown, Ali Reza Durudi of University of Alabama, and Dr. Rasha Alawi, who is a renal transplant specialist at Brown University, and her patients are being denied of specialty medical care right now, and this is all being perpetuated by our current administration in combination with the Israeli government. As American citizens and American residents, this appalls us. But as freedom fighters and those seeking peace and justice, this violation of law that we hold near and dear to our hearts is an assault that we cannot bear. We have to stop this administration from stripping away these rights, the rights of any of its citizens that are enshrined in the Constitution. If you all stay true to the oath that you took, then you must be willing to defend the Constitution against, quote, all enemies, foreign and domestic. We are seeking our town council today to condemn the illegal abductions and detentions of U.S. residents and citizens, as well as the violations of our First Amendment right to free speech when pro-Palestinian protesters are targeted for these abductions. We demand that you ensure the safety of all students and constituents, including those of marginalized and vulnerable populations. We commit to being a community that's united in love and respect for our U.S. Constitution and for our founding values as a country. We offered our town council a year ago a chance to stand for peace, to end the genocide, to call for justice and freedom for everyone. We are offering again for our local officials the opportunity to stand on the right side of history and oppose the fascist, racist leanings of our current administration and its supposed ally in the Middle East. We need to uphold our values as a nation, our inalienable rights, our right to freedom of speech, which is the very First Amendment of the Bill of Rights. For us to uphold this value, this Bill of Rights, we must assert everyone's right to free speech, even if it's speech that we disagree with, as well as their right to assembly and to a free press. Lastly, I want to refer to you to an alternate news source called Fight Back Better. You can check it out on Instagram. It's called FBB or Fight Back Better. This is a great alternative news source for recent Palestinian issues. Thank you so much, and free Mahmoud Khalil.
Good evening, Nawal Tufel, East Brunswick. So I have a couple of things before
Do you have a street address?
Sorry, Tall Oaks Drive.
Tall Oaks Drive? Thank you.
So a couple of things before I start my speech. I don't know who writes the minutes of these meetings, but there are some really wrong things written. Like I came in one of the meetings and I shared the story of Aaron Bushnell, who was a U.S. Army active duty who killed himself for the Palestine to raise awareness, and the minutes had completely different story.
Oh, you can find, if you find my email on the East Brunswick address and maybe make a short piece.
I can do that.
I shouldn't say a short piece, a definitive piece, and then we'll make sure we get that included.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. The other thing, the proclamation for the child abuse, thank you so much. It was much needed. As a mother of 3 young children, child abuse is very close to my heart, this topic and this cause. And that's why I have been coming to this meeting over and over again to ask this administration to do the right thing. I do want to read a short poem, which is by Hassan Kanafi. He's a Palestinian poet, and it goes like, I wish children didn't die. I wish they would be temporarily elevated to the skies until the war ends. Then they would return home safe. And when their parents would ask them, where were you? They would say, we were playing in the clouds. So the other thing, I'm going to just say a few words. Mr. McAvoy, there's nothing new that I'm going to tell you today that I have not told you in the past. I do want to share some pictures. I don't know if you see. That's how the Palestinian children are brought after each and every bomb. This is just one of the thousands of pictures that we have seen. The other thing, can you see this picture? This is from the Operation Theater in Gaza. That's what the situation is right now. Can you see the leg right here? It's a human leg. So when you see the pain and agony and why we are coming here, because we want you to do the right thing. So I'm going to start. I'm here again urging this administration of East Brunswick to reconsider its sisterhood city ties with an Israeli city, given that Israel has been actively committing war crimes and crimes against humanity, which even makes Nazi look good. In the past, Israeli military operations have been criticized for deliberate targeting of civilians, including children and even infants, targeting hospitals and schools and homes. Israel has killed tens of thousands of Palestinians in last few months, and there is no ending to their bloodshed. As a community, we must ask ourselves, can we continue to maintain a relationship with a city that is part of a government committing these atrocities? Our sisterhood city ties should reflect our values, and our values does not coincide with war criminals and Israeli child killers. By continue to keep these ties, we are basically saying that we are endorsing the actions that go against human values and principles. At this point, only a true monster can look at these pictures and say that this is the right thing to do. So I really urge you, Mr. McAvoy, to take a stand. Let us show that East Brunswick is committed to justice and peace, not by turning a blind eye, but by making the difficult but necessary decision to break ties with any city that condones such actions. I urge you again to do what is in your control at a time when children are getting slaughtered and shredded by Israel. And again, Mr. McAvoy, I have said this thing before. We know that it's in your control. You can take the action. As the president of this council, you have power to take the action. I know it's hard, it's not easy, and to stand with justice is never easy. Everyone is scared. But then you can do the right thing and make your family and your generations proud that at the time of a genocide, you did what not every person can do. That's it. Thank you so much.
Anyone else wishing? Not this evening. Okay, this gentleman here.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you very much for letting us speak tonight. My name is Stephen Marlowe. I am from Hoboken, New Jersey. I am also on the board of directors for New Jersey Peace Action. Thank you for letting me address you. Also, thank you for passing that proclamation earlier, recognizing the work of the Women's Club to prevent child abuse. I want to highlight two words that came up often in the proclamation: all children. Keep that in mind as we've been speaking tonight and you see these pictures tonight. All children. Don't forget that. So I'm here to ask that you consider passing a resolution that calls for a ceasefire and an end to the genocide in Gaza. There are two questions I have for you tonight. The first, which side of history do you want to be on? What will they say? What will they see about history? History will determine the truth based on news headlines from today. And what will they see about those headlines? One story about Hamas, one day, retaliating after decades of oppression and occupation. But history will also see hundreds of nearly daily headlines documenting war crimes, crimes against humanity, crimes of international law committed by Israel. Headlines of crimes that will one day be used to prove their genocidal intent. Headlines like, Israel bombed another school in Gaza, another hospital, not just one, but every hospital in Gaza, including the last functioning hospital in Gaza just 2 days ago, a Christian hospital, another mosque, another residential area, an ambulance with first responders or UN workers, a refugee encampment filled with nothing but tents and refugees, people fleeing the carnage at their homes to go to a place that Israel declared a safe zone.
All right, I'm going to have to interrupt you. The shame comments, they're going to have to be stifled. Otherwise, I'll just have to shut down the whole Palestinian
I would appreciate that, because I hope it doesn't
Right.
take any time away from what my
No,
speech.
I've got the time down here.
I appreciate that very
But-
much.
But we
I
don't
would
need,
also
we don't need
appreciate that.
announcements coming from the audience.
How many headlines have there been about humanitarian aid being stopped at the border and not allowed in? About famine and children starving to death? How Israel shut off the flow of water or electricity? A dozen innocent people murdered today, a few hundred the next. And every time it's the same unfounded excuses. We were hunting Hamas. We were targeting terrorists without any proof. When the headlines demand a reply, it's always, we are conducting an investigation, but never a conclusion or report of findings, unless it's to counter firsthand videos that we can all see with our own eyes. There is no way the future will look at this and not witness genocide happening in real time. More than 50,000 dead, including so many women and children. History will portray this for what it is, as the atrocity of our time, and that we stood by and did nothing while it happened. Every time there's a call for a ceasefire, come the cries, return the hostages. And we agree. Every time there is a ceasefire, more hostages are returned. So why not call for a ceasefire? When history looks back on what Israel has done, do you think it will somehow forget this or turn a blind eye? You cannot erase all these headlines from history. Open your eyes, see what is happening and say enough. Open your hearts and say we want peace. Now my second question is twofold. How do you want history to remember you? How do you want history to remember your community that you represent, East Brunswick? What headline will come from tonight? That is up to you. So please, do the right thing, be on the right side of history, and please vote to support a ceasefire resolution.
A number of you may recall because I see some familiar faces. And I had limited the talks to 25 minutes. And I think that's fair. So we are now into the half-hour mark. So I'm going to take two more from the Palestinian network that want to speak, and then we're going to shut down and move on to the rest of our gentlemen here.
My name is Troy Shinbrot. I am from Tall Oaks Drive in East Brunswick, just over the street. I'm not a member of a Palestinian network. I'm a Jew. 49%. Just remember that number. 49% of children in Gaza have expressed to Médecins Sans Frontières and the Dutch Relief Alliance, 49% have said they want to die. 49%. These are children who want to die. Whatever your measure is, it's too much. It's wrong. And we have to take a stand for decency. We have to call for a ceasefire. Thank you.
So his hand go first. Sorry.
Hello, my name is Yoshi. I am from Princeton, New Jersey.
You're from Princeton, Joshi?
Yes, Princeton, which recently just hosted the war
first name
criminal
is
Naftali
Joshi,
Bennett,
yeah.
but that's a separate matter. I'm here to talk about my demand that East Brunswick should cut its tie with Yavne, Israel. And because like here, as citizens of the United States, we have signed international treaties which obligates us to uphold this international order that arose in the wake of World War II, which, had horrors visited upon us that we vowed to like never revisit again. Yet we are seeing it replay again in the past 19 months in what was known the worldwide as the first live stream genocide, where you could like turn on a device and see the bombings, the starvation, the gunning down of like civilians. There was even a recent video where bodies were seen flying into the air after being targeted by Israel bombing. Yavne happens to be the home of the aeronautic defense systems, which develops unmanned aerial vehicles, or more commonly known as drones, for military and civilian application. And in 2019, it was bought by Rafael Advanced Defense. So like this sister city agreement with Yavne is directly complicit in genocide, and it would behoove East Brunswick to cut this tie so as not to further its complicity with war crimes, with apartheid, with occupation, which in the conclusion of the International Court of Justice, I believe it's August 2024, that Israel is committing crimes against humanity with its occupation of East Jerusalem, West Bank, and Gaza, and that all nations should immediately do everything in their power to cut economic ties, diplomatic ties with Israel, so that until these crimes are ended. So, in conclusion, this is very much in East Brunswick's power to do, which is to cut the ties that established, which is not even all that long. It was in 2022. And you should, at this time, if you care about legacy, you should cut your ties with Yavne. And if Israel should Yavne, end these crimes, then you could redevelop those ties. But right now, it makes no sense whatsoever. And as your constituents, East Brunswick of New Jersey, I think it'd be wise to cut ties with Yavne. Thanks.
Okay, so at this point in time, I'm going to shut down the Palestinian question, comment section. So if you do want to scoot, I'll give you the 2 minutes to sort of do that. Otherwise, we're going to return to the agenda meeting. No, thank you. No. Okay. I was speaking for the group when it came to the photographs. I saw enough of the photographs. I did not need them in my hands. So I'm speaking for the group when I did that. We have 3 resolutions requiring a separate vote. I think I'm in the right arena, right? First, we have Resolution 25-149. Ms. Lawful, I guess, would you please read that?
Whereas NJSA 40A:4-9 permits amendments to the municipal budget after adoption without requiring a public hearing, provided the amendments do not decrease the item of appropriation by more than 10% or alter the amount to be raised by taxation. And whereas the pool utility of the Township of East Brunswick operating surplus anticipated may not exceed the balance of cash on hand, the township has identified cost savings in expenditures allowing for the reduction of appropriations without impacting essential services. And whereas the total reduction in the line item of appropriation budgeted remains below 10% of the adopted pool utility appropriation line item, and therefore does not necessitate a public hearing. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, that the 2025 municipal budget is hereby approved and amended as follows. Pool utility revenues, line item 10, dedicated revenues from pool utility, operating surplus anticipated from $270,396.58 to $195,396.58, a total change or decrease of $75,000. The total pool utility revenues went from $1,773,000 to $1,698,000, a total decrease of $75,000. Pool utility appropriations, item 11, appropriations for pool utility operating salaries and wages from $820,441.58 to $745,441.58, a total change, a deduction of $75,000. Total sewer utility appropriations went from total pool utility appropriations went from $1,773,000 to $1,698,000, a total decrease of $75,000. Be it further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Chief Financial Officer, the Municipal Auditor, and filed with the CFO in the Division of Local Government Services FAST system as required.
Council may recall reading these numbers from last year, and we've, by law, been able to cut this down. A little, oh, significant, that's even better than by a little bit. Can I have a motion for?
Motion approved. 1 second, sir,
Oh.
if you wouldn't mind. There's a typo actually in the resolution. In the total section, on the first part, it says total parking utility revenue. It should be total pool utility.
She just didn't know. She said it, but she
Didn't.
It's not written.
Right, but it's not, I just want to make sure the council knows. And likewise, in the lower section where it says total sewer utility appropriation, it should be total pool utility appropriation. I believe the mayor said you read it into the record as such, but I want to make sure I check with the CFO and those are the right quotations.
Motion approved.
Motion to, second?
Second.
Yes.
And then we'll do a roll call on that. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes, yes. Next, we have Resolution 25-150, the 2025 budget adoption reading of, are we, roll call? Oh, it's a vote, I'm sorry. Still on, then, the first resolution, 25-149?
Yes.
We need a vote and roll call on that.
No. She did
No,
that.
I just read that one, right. That's what
So 150.
So now we're going to 150,
Yes.
second one.
Resolution.
You have to do the hearing, I'm sorry, can we, the CFO is saying that we need to do a hearing on a topic. So Angel, could you?
Hearing on the budget.
Hearing on the budget, right.
Just announced to the public that we need a hearing on the budget. Are there any questions on the budget?
Are there any hearings on the budget? I guess that's coming out of my mouth.
Question.
Questions?
Any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Next, a Resolution 25-150.
Resolution authorizing the reading of the 2025 municipal budget by title only, and we only need a vote on this.
Roll call.
Motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Second.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. And then my number 3, it says, and then finally, Resolution 25-151,
Yes.
correct? Authorizing the adoption of the municipal budget?
Yes. A resolution authorizing the adoption of the 2025 municipal budget be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, that the budget hereinbefore set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorization of the amount of $43,580,907.18 for municipal purposes and $3,409,465 for minimum library levy. Summary of revenues, general revenues, surplus anticipated, $4,550,000. Miscellaneous revenues anticipated, $28,374,083.38. Receipts from delinquent taxes, $1,555,000. Amount to be raised by taxation for municipal purposes, $43,580,907.18. Amount to be raised by taxation, minimum library levy, $3,409,465. Total revenues, $81,469,455.56. Summary of appropriations, general appropriations within caps, operations including contingency, $47,905,776.62. Deferred charges and statutory expenditures, municipal, $10,272,606.33. Excluded from caps, operations, total operations excluded from caps, $4,704,857.48. Capital improvements, $997,000. Municipal debt service, $13,939,214.48. Reserve for uncollectible taxes, $3,650,065. Total appropriations, $81,469,455.56. All done.
Second?
Second.
And we open this up to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this particular issue, this issue only? Seeing no one, will close the public portion. And can we go to a roll call?
Yes. Sorry, 2 seconds.
Oh, we did get a second?
We did.
Oh, we did.
about
Councilwoman Zambicki.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Let's move on to our consent agenda, and will Township Clerk
I know, right?
please read our consent agenda statement? But if you are tongue-tired, I can do the reading.
It's okay.
It's okay?
It was easier this time around.
I know. It seemed like, we were, last couple of years, when we got to this part, the yawns begin, and so.
Never ending.
How come we got it shortened? Mr. Criscuolo, did you put your magic wand over the budget?
I love
It's our
the
CFO,
CFO,
and I have to take a second to thank Angel and his staff.
Yeah.
That's right. You're welcome. Appreciate the work that you do. All right, consent agenda statement.
Yes. Resolution 25-152 through Resolution 25-164. The following items are considered routine and non-controversial items by the Township Council and will be enacted upon by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed and voted on following the approval of the remaining items listed on the consent agenda.
Thank you. 25-161 has been removed, has been. Does council need anything else separated? No. Okay. How How about, before we do move on, I know Councilman Wendell, you can chime in here. We are in the consent agenda. However, Mr. Simonelli is being recognized this evening, and I know
Yes.
your relationship does go back. So would you have some anecdotal information? I want to recognize the fact that you've been working for the township.
Not really, but I mean, you know.
He's a 15-year, 17-year veteran.
It's nice to see, you know, the progression of employees through the ranks in
Yep.
our town and, you know, seeing that we're moving to a new construction subcode official. And, you know, it surely is necessary based upon the redevelopment and everything else that's going on in town. It's good that we have a robust department.
Right,
And I'm very happy to have such qualified individuals.
right, running around in those little white Jeeps you see in all of our neighborhoods. As I was talking with the fellows before, seems like everyone's doing improvements on their home and not putting a for sale sign up because East Brunswick just is today, and like it always has been, the place to live. Not just for the schools, but for all the things that go on in our township with regard to true, transparent governance. Can we go right to the roll call?
We need a motion.
Motion?
Motion approved.
And a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Zambicki with the second. So we're going to need, the motion is for 25-152 through 25-164, excluding, can we do it that way, 25-161? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Council,
Congratulations.
right.
Congratulations.
And since we have another half hour of governance, the door is yours, Leah. You don't want to hang around, but if you want to hang around, you're always more than welcome. Council, we have 6 ordinances for introduction. This is the time-consuming when we do 6 or more in a row. But we do have 6 ordinances, so Township Clerk, can you please read 25-11?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending the useful lives set forth in bond ordinances number 19-16, 22-16, and 21-26, and finally adopted June 10th, 2019, October 11th, 2021, and July 11th, 2022.
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes, 1 down, 5 to go. Resolution 25-12.
A capital ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $879,500 therefore from the Capital Improvement Fund.
Motion to move on this?
Second.
Councilwoman Zambicki, and a second.
Yeah, second.
Councilman Wendell. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Ordinance 25-13.
A bond ordinance providing a supplemental appropriation of $500,000 for the replacement of various water main lines in and by the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $500,000 in bonds or notes of the Township to finance the cost thereof.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second. Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
I see we're down to 1 person left. I just want you to know that everything that we're presenting, we have homework. Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for coming out this evening. Resolution 25-14.
A bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $3,276,300 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,112,500 in bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof.
Motion
Motion to approve.
and a second,
Second.
and roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. 2516,
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code, Chapter 101, filming.
motion to approve,
So moved.
second,
Second.
roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes.
Can I ask a question on this?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm just curious, have we had anybody for this that has looked to do filming, or?
Yes,
Yes.
there's one in process. There'll be a commercial done
Okay,
in a residential home shortly.
interesting. All right. Very progressive.
Good. And one more, 2517?
2517, an ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, authorizing a drainage easement and a roadway improvement easement between the Township of East Brunswick and Brightview East Brunswick Urban Renewal LLC in connection with the Brightview redevelopment project.
Motion to approve,
Motion to adopt.
second,
Second.
roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. For the good of the cause.
No, we got to do
Oh,
165-164, resolution.
We have a resolution.
Oh, I beg your pardon, we were moving too quickly. That's the
I would have
one
loved to
I
run
have
out
it
of
here.
here.
Did everyone have the opportunity to look this over?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have it? Yes, by title.
Resolution 25-164, a resolution of the Township of East Brunswick authorizing an executive closed session pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, to discuss litigation and contract matters.
Motion approved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes.
And we should be saying for the public that we're not going to be doing any business after this closed session.
Right, is that?
Yeah, we're not going to do any business during closed session. We're going to come back out.
Right, but
But we don't intend to do business.
No, right, no
no action taken.
Yeah, this way EBTV can shut down and everything.
Yeah.
So let's give them a few minutes.
EBTV will shut down while we're
Right now.
going to wait till they're done.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep. Yes, you have to vote.
Oh, did we?
okay, right.
Oh, yeah.
Roll call on the closed session.
I thought we did.
I don't think so.
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Okay.
Second.
We did. We did.
Doesn't matter.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
So we have to go into close.
Now we can shut, yeah, now we close it.
Do I need to read? I don't need to read my little, we're in closed session.
We're in closed session now. So TV closes, floor closes.
And then we're going to go and review this.
We're gonna, yeah, we'll